Greetings, day 7. Let's recap it. All right, so we're continuing to work on Autoforge, and I decided today we're going to try to get the Lua components working, and so we can actually define components within Lua and have them working inside of the C++ game engine. And so there's a lot of moving parts here. I'll try to quickly go over all of them. First thing that we needed to do was make it so that we had some wrapper around our Lua components, and I aptly named that Lua component. And that just contains a soul table of the component, and so that's the underlying component. So everything that we use for the Lua component just goes straight to that. So anytime we call it create or destroy, it will try to call the create or destroy of this component. And so that's the C++ side. For the Lua side, we needed to come up with how is that looking? So I created this little simple inventory component, object, table, whatever you want to call it. And I added that to this component directory. So then inside of our prefab, we have down here, we have it so that it will create this components table. We add our inventory to that components table, and then we go through all of the component scripts, such as this inventory.lua, and we then will load that up. So that way our components table is filled with every single component that we want to put in the game. And we then do some magic where we go through and we take that component name or type and add that as a function to the prefab table inside of Lua. So that way, what we can do is something like this, where whenever we are creating our prefabs, we can call the a function on that prefab that corresponds to the component. So prefab.inventory is created right over here. This is where we create this function. It's a little lambda, and what it will do is it will take whatever data we provide and then kind of merge it with this inventory component data, whatever we want to put here. So that way, whenever new Lua components are created, which happens down over here, prefab add, this is where we actually add the Lua component to the prefab entity. And whenever we are creating instances of this prefab entity, it will correctly copy the Lua component data, which happens in the factory function. There we go. And so that's how that whole workflow is working. That part is working, and I've tested it and everything. The next thing I'm trying to do is make it so that we can nicely index the component names as well as data within the Lua component. So instead of having to do something along the lines of the inventory dot component, or maybe it would be data size, which is coming from, here we have this information, but then we also provide the size here. Instead of having to do the data.size, we could just do .size. And that will basically go look inside of our data, or in the C++ side, it's called im_component, and try to figure that out. So trying to figure that out we'll see. Kind of getting ahead of myself here, but yeah, we'll see how things go in tomorrow's recap. Thanks for watching, guys.